There was a time in my life where I was making the most money I had ever made, but my body was slowly, and quietly falling apart. What would you do if you were in a situation where your paycheck was growing, but your peace of mind was shrinking? And that's what I want to talk about in today's video, and how I navigated that space and how I continue to navigate my money mindset around being in a space where I was making a lot of money and it was misaligned, and not allowing that limiting belief to get rooted in me and to steer me forward. So I was in my corporate leadership career in healthcare, worked really hard to get the role, was mentored to be in the role, and was doing really good in the role, was doing well in the role, was leading a large team, taking on big projects, just doing all the things, and making again the most money I had ever made in my life. Not in addition to, the base salary, also the bonuses. And the bonuses would reflect your performance. So if you had a good year, you had a good bonus. And I had several good years, several good years. However, as the years progressed, my body was starting to give me signs that honestly I ignored. And I talk about it in my book, Release and Renew, but there were signs of, the weight gain, the anxiety, ultimately needing prescription medication just to come to work, being in a place of being disconnected from myself, like not doing things that brought me joy anymore, the chronic exhaustion, the misalignment, all of those things that slowly began to creep in and escalate year after year after year. Again, the money was growing and the peace of mind was shrinking. Ultimately, I burnt out in that role and I left. Didn't tell anybody either. When I decided that I was going to leave that role and not have another job to fall back into, the only people that I told was my mom. I didn't even tell my dad at the time. And I told my best friend. Those were the two people that I knew that wouldn't judge me. And I just felt like even if they didn't understand, they still wouldn't judge me, because what I have come to find out is that people will place their fears on you, their limiting beliefs on you, especially if it's something that they're afraid to do, they wouldn't see themselves doing. And oftentimes it's not any malice or, any evil or bad with what they're trying to help you with, but that was my reason for not telling anyone but my mom and my best friend, is because I just felt like people wouldn't understand. And come to find out, people did not understand when I finally got in a place where I felt like I was comfortable to tell people. Like they just didn't understand. Like, you left that good job, you left that six-figure salary, the bonuses, like all of the things, like they just did not get it. But what that season in my life had slowly rooted in me was the belief that I can only make a lot of money when I'm in misalignment or in high stress environments. That literally became my belief. Um, and I really did not, how can I say this? I didn't, even though that belief had been rooted in me and I was somewhat aware, I had not verbally said it yet. So it's something that I said to my therapist one day, especially as I, got back into corporate America in a lower stress, lower paying job. Watch that video that I did a few days back. That means I thought that taking a lower level job would mean lower stress. That was a lie. The lie detector said the lie detector said that was a lie. But as I just got to this place and as I'm building my own business, I really wanted to get any limiting beliefs, anything that would cause any type of a mental barrier for me around money, especially if I'm building something new. I didn't want to be in a place that meant that it subconsciously, like, money equals misalignment, or being wealthy or financially free equals sacrifice. Like, I wanted to get those beliefs root that started to take root in me. I wanted to be able to get it out, because the thing that I had to come to realize was that the money particularly wasn't the issue. And if I'm honest, the work itself really wasn't the issue per se, because I was good at the job. It was the environment that I was in. It was the environment, and it was what I was putting my mind and body through, and what I believed at the time I had to, I don't know, suffer through or sacrifice through to receive the amount of money I was making. So I had to come to that revelation, and then working with my therapist, start to really dig deep into not only my awareness around that belief in my corporate career, but what maybe in my upbringing, or how the therapists do, like what other unchallenged beliefs that I might have in me in regards to money. So I started asking myself, and again, with the help of my therapist, questions like, do I believe money only comes through suffering? Because I don't want that to be my truth. I really didn't want that to be my truth. Or do I think alignment, being in a place of alignment, is financially unsafe? And again, I am currently building with radical intention, and alignment is the only way for me. So I don't want to feel like I can't make good money being in a place of alignment. I also had to ask myself, I have my questions written down here. Do I trust that I can create money, financial freedom differently? Because again, when I was in my corporate career, I was making a lot of money. I was like maxing out my 401k, maxing out my IRA, had money in my savings account, like shopping like a crazy person. Like, we're not even going to get into that. I wasn't in a place where financially I wanted or needed for anything. And I'm having to wrestle with that and really work through that belief right now of, can I be in a place of financial freedom like I was before? Little to no debt, making a great living, but creating that out of a place, creating that still in a place of alignment, versus how I was able to create it in misalignment that ultimately cost me a lot. It cost me my health, my well-being, and I mean mental and physical health. Like, the cost, I'm just not willing to pay any longer. And in addition to me working this through with my therapist, I was very intentional about seeking out, I talked about it yesterday, possibility models, and finding women, finding other creative entrepreneurs, just finding other women business owners who were earning money in the way that I desired to earn money, and not doing it in a way where hustle was their path. Because again, I want to be very intentional. I want my wellness to be focused. I want rest to be centered. I want my capacity to be honored. And I do believe that all of that can be possible. I have not personally experienced it yet. I'm moving towards that, but that's the reason, again, why I place myself in communities and around other women who were building in that way and showing me what was possible is able to also help me uproot some of those beliefs around listening to my body versus just looking at the bank account. And I felt like that's what I was doing in my corporate career. Like I was just looking at the bank account and ignoring what my body was quietly telling me at first, and then ultimately started like screaming at me. What also helped me too is I'm a Christian. I serve God, the big G, not the little one, big G, Jesus Christ, God, Jesus, and his daddy. And so I really, really, really had to lean into my faith, because God's promises are his promises. And when has God ever lied? He said that we will be the head and not the tail. He said that we would be the lender and not the borrower. And he said that he will provide all of our needs according to his riches and glory. And there are even more scriptures out there that really show us that God is the ultimate provider, and he does not want us to suffer. He is a loving father who does not want us to suffer. Now, yes, will we have to go through difficult times and, maybe have some seasons of difficulty? Yes. But ultimately, God is not sitting up high wishing upon us that we would suffer. And we also know that if you can steward over a little, he will continue to give you more. So in this season where I'm not financially where I desire to be, I am doing my best to be a good steward over the finances that I have now. I am doing my best to be a good steward over this middle season that I'm in right now, and the 9 to 5 that I'm in the way that I work with my clients and my business, in the way that I build my digital product, in the way that I wrote my book. I am being very good. I'm trying to be a very good steward over those gifts that he's placed in me that I've been able to birth out into the role. And I just know that in due time, on his time, not mine, but it is coming, that I will receive the promises that he has given to me, and not just me, but to you as well. So during this time where I was really wrestling with being in a state of financial freedom and alignment and having them coexist, I really had to just get really rooted in my faith. And I continue to be rooted in there, because those thoughts still do continue to be there at times, especially when we don't see, certain amounts of money coming in like we would want to come, because, these bills, they keep coming. But I know that I am building in an intentional way. I know that I am building in an authentic way. I know that I am building in a way to help women who may have a similar experience lived experience that I have. And I know I'm doing it from a genuine place. So I feel like at some point you have no choice but for things to take off and to really be able to serve and provide an impact to women like you who are watching this video. So if you can resonate with this, I want to say something that might help you reframe some things. And again, I'm talking about this, in career, money situations, because that's really important, especially for high achieving women, probably like, you watching this video. But when your body and your paycheck disagree, that doesn't automatically be like, okay, girl, I'm quitting this job tomorrow. That's not what it means. It's a signal for you to pay attention. And I know so many of us have been so disconnected from our bodies that oftentimes we don't even know when our bodies are giving us the signal to, hey, pay attention, this is going on. But when your body starts giving you those signals, when you're in a place of a misaligned career, a misaligned job, pay attention to those signals, because oftentimes it's not about the money that you're making, it's about the misalignment. And that could be the misalignment again in the environment, in the work, or both. Ultimately, I came to realize for me, it was the misalignment in the environment, because the work that I was doing, I was good at. And I'm thinking about some things in that space too, but just it will look differently if I step into that space as an entrepreneur. The environment will be day and night. So that's just something to think about when it comes to, the conversation around, are you listening to your body or are you listening to your bank account? We do have to listen to both, but ultimately, if you're not listening to your body, you may not be around to reap the benefits from the bank account or the paycheck if you're not taking care of yourself. So I have some reflection questions for you to ponder on. If you can resonate with any of this and you feel like you might be in a similar season. I'm not going to say all of them. I wrote a few down. What do I believe I have to sacrifice to earn well? Again, that's a question that I had to ask myself. Do I associate money with stress? Do you feel like I felt like gotta be stressed out? It has to be hard. Money has to be hard to earn. We need to dig that up from the root. And what would aligned wealth, aligned revenue generating activities, aligned financial freedom look like for me? I think that's a good question for you to journal on or just ponder about. So let me know in the comments if any of this resonates with you. I'm Erica Prevail, and I share daily conversations helping driven, purpose-led women rework their relationship with ambition, capacity, rest, and creativity. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.